co-host.
Well, that was fun, everyone. Hope you all learned something. We'll see you next time.
Wow.
Did everybody get booted out?
Yeah, I think you closed down the whole meeting.
Oh, I was like, what happened?
Well, that's what happens. I thought making you guys co-host would have avoided that, but here we are. Hey, Andrew.
Hello,
Hey, what's going
everyone.
on?
Hey, Maribel. Bienvenida. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, Tanya, I'm gonna make you
I
co-host.
thought it was me. I was like, what did I do? Technical difficulties. I'm still letting people in again.
Thank you.
It's always an adventure.
Oh, no wonder you can't hear me. I was on mute and off, but I'm back now.
Yeah, we
Hi,
were all gone, Ann.
Hi,
It wasn't
everyone.
just you. I thought we were chugging right along, and then we
Hi,
weren't.
Edna, Maria, Imani.
Welcome
Amy.
back, everyone.
Welcome back. We all got kicked off and now we're back on. It's the spirit of entrepreneurship. Try again.
Hi, Imani.
Hi,
Hello.
Kimberly. Hi again, Cheryl. Octavio.
Hi, everyone.
Hi,
Hello.
Ari.
Hello.
Hey, Edna. Hi, Irvin. Thanks for being here. Hi, Amy.
Hello.
Nice of you to join us, Irv.
I have a quick question while we're waiting. Should I put it in
Sure.
the chat?
Sure.
No, go
Oh,
right
okay.
ahead.
So I've been having trouble trying to do the survey at the end of the class. I'm not sure. why I'm
What
not able to
happens when you do it, Edna?
I just can't even locate it. If I go to the Ibero website, I can't even find it.
Okay, we'll consult
Maybe I'm in the wrong
Augustine.
place.
Let me share my screen so that we could walk through that process.
Okay.
'Cause hopefully it's not a technical issue because we definitely have those like every day.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
still letting people in, so we'll wait 1 second
Yeah,
before we
me too,
start
Tanya.
introductions. Yeah.
So I'm pulling in on the website. I'll give it a second here till it loads. All right, so are you in the Google site that we've been using? Edna?
I probably, no, that's probably why, because I haven't been able to access it. So what I've been doing each class is from the original Zoom link that Ann sent via text, I sent that to my email address, and I just go back to that same email and just click on that link.
I see.
I cannot access the Google site at all.
Edna, can you retry? Like, are you working on your phone or a computer or what?
On my laptop.
So
Let me put it in the chat.
yeah, let's try a different
You know what, maybe
link for
the first
Google
time you
site.
sent it to me, I was able to get to access it on my phone. But when you send it to my email address that you have on file for me, I cannot. Maybe
Okay.
I should try it from my phone.
So Augustine just posted it in the chat here if you want to copy and paste it and try that, if that's
Okay.
possible.
I apologize to whomever keeps letting me in. I keep messing with my Zoom camera and for some reason I can't get it to work. So my apologies. I keep kicking myself out.
Never a problem with technology. Never apologize.
Was that you, Nellie?
Yeah, it was me. I can't figure it out. And I don't want to do it on my phone because like I'd rather do it from my laptop so I can see the
Sure.
screen better. And so I literally have been on this Chromebook the past 25 minutes trying to figure it out and I can't figure it out. So you get an N.
Well, welcome.
Thanks.
Edna, how's the access to the Google site? Because maybe I just have to give you
Let's see.
permission. permission for it.
What was that? I'm sorry.
I just asked Edna about the link to the site that we just put on the chat.
Oh,
Can you
gotcha,
hear
sorry.
me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm trying. Let me play around with it for a minute and I'll send you a message.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, good. Okay, good.
If you're able
Thank
to
you.
see the screen, it's over here where it says schedule. And then it says evaluations. That's where we evaluate the teachers.
Let me go back. Let me open up. Okay.
In the meantime, well, welcome everybody. Bienvenidos a todos. Gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. Thank you for being here with us. Tanya, do you want me to
Yes.
continue with?
Yeah, you can go ahead, whatever works.
So antes de brincar con nuestro maestro, before we jump in with our teacher, we'll continue with the same rules. Continuaremos con las mismas reglas. I will create a Spanish room. Crearé un cuarto de español. And when we jump into the classroom, those who speak Spanish just jump into the Spanish room. Para ellos que entonces que tienen español, pues van y brincan al cuarto de español. In the meantime, mientras tanto, we'll stay here together. We're just going to go around and introduce ourselves. Just name, the business idea, and what stage of business you're in. Vamos a introducirnos unos a otros una vez más, con tu nombre, el tipo de negocio que estás haciendo y qué etapa de negocio estás ahora. Estaremos juntos mientras tanto. So I'm just going to go by each box that I see first here. Iré por cajita aquí al frente. Rolando, te veo primero. Si puedes introducirte sobre el negocio que estás haciendo y qué etapa. No te escuchamos. Ahí está.
Me llamo Rolando, soy de aquí de la ciudad de Rochester y estoy emprendiendo en el negocio de bienes raíces y estoy en los preparativos y las condiciones para ejercer el trabajo.
Okay, so Rolando said that he's here in the city of Rochester. ¿Trabaja con proyectos de casa o solamente con techos? Siempre me confundo.
No, de remodelación general de casa.
Okay, so
basement, techo, todo.
He does anything that has to do with a residential home, starting from the roof down. Gracias, Rolando. Next, I see Kimberly.
Hi, I'm
Me?
Kimberly.
Oh, that's right. We have two Kimberlys here. Let me introduce Kimberly Balcom first.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Balcom. I'm trying to do like private duty aid with elderly population 70 and up. And I'm in the beginning stages right now.
Okay. Kimberly está en la etapa temprana en su negocio ayudando con ciudadanos de edad alta, especificándose con gente que está en los 70 o más años. Edna, if you're in earshot, can you tell us a bit about your business and what stage of business you're in?
Hi, so I am working with my daughter, Jalen, who I believe she's also on, and we're doing a couple things, but main one that we are partnering on is called Simple Pleasures. We're in the beginning stages of creating specialty boxes, gift boxes, charcuterie boxes, and Jalen does specialty treats.
Nice. So, Edna explica que está en la etapa temprana, está trabajando con su socia y trabajan en paquetes específicos que han hecho para comer. Thank you, Edna.
Thank you.
Next, we have Amy. Hey, Amy.
Hi, my name is Amy and my business partner Lauren is also in the class, and we're planning on opening Charlie's Canine Camp the end of next year in Geneva, New York. And we'll be offering doggy daycare, training, grooming, and boarding.
So, Amy explica que con su socia están en etapa temprana y piensan abrir durante este año después. y se enfocan entrenando perros y cuidando perros. Thank you, Amy. Siguiente veo Marta. Hey, Marta.
Hi, llegué un poquitito tarde. Muy buenas tardes, mi nombre es Marta Monserrate, todavía no tengo negocio, ¿verdad? Estoy aquí por eso, pero me interesa tener una compañía de limpieza.
Okay. Marta explains that she's in her early stages of a business and she is focusing on cleaning, commercial cleaning to be exact. Jacqueline Nieves, bienvenida. Esta es tu primera vez. This is Jacqueline's first time here today. Jacqueline, si puedes tomar tiempo para dejarnos saber tal vez el nombre de negocio, si está ya abierto, en qué etapa está el negocio y qué tipo de negocio es.
Hola, mi nombre es Jacqueline Nieves, soy de aquí de Rochester, New York. Estoy preparándome para, quisiera tener mi propio restaurante. Esta es mi primera etapa, no tengo nada. O sea, este es mi primer paso.
Okay, so Jacqueline explains that she is in the early stages, ideation stage of a restaurant. So far, nothing has been established yet, but this is where she's at right now. Gracias, Jacqueline. Jacqueline. Okay, next I have Fred. ¿Cómo está, Fred?
Hi, saludo a todo el mundo. Ferrer por acá, Fred Ferrer. Estamos en la etapa de comienzo. No tengo negocio, ¿verdad? Todavía, pero estamos con la idea y los planes. Sería una pizzería con un estilo diferente, con los pisos.
Nice. Fred explains that his business hasn't been launched yet. He's in the ideation stage, and he is looking to do a fast food type of business, in particular pizzeria. And I know that Fred in the past has shared that he's the one with the idea of the cone pizza that he wants to introduce here. So, welcome, Fred. Next, I have Jaylene Abrahams.
Hi, I'm Jaylyn, and I am currently working with my mom, Edna, who's also on here doing a Simple Pleasures. Well, the business is called Simple Pleasures. Basically, we're just doing, gift boxes, customized gift boxes. I'm doing specialty treats as well, and I'm also working on a Carnival Eats business as well. I'm currently, for the specialty treats, I'm currently taking orders via like Marketplace Facebook as of right now for Mother's Day and Easter, but I am still working on a website.
Okay. So she shares that ella muestra y habla que está en la etapa de comienzo, pero ya está tomando órdenes. So she's already taking orders in her specialty treat company. So hace paquetitos específicos que son ordenados y ya está tomando órdenes online. Thank you, Jaylene. Next, I have Kayla Diaz. Hey, you ended up coming earlier. You texted me that you were gonna show up late.
I was racing to get here. Hi, everybody. I'm Kayla Diaz. My business is Cake Lani, and I provide customized cakes, cupcakes, cake cups. The goal is to make the most beautiful cakes for everybody, no matter how crazy the design is, how simple it is, just something beautiful that people can enjoy with super delicious flavors.
Kayla explica que ella trabaja en un negocio. And Kayla, can you let me know, are you in the ideation stage or have you already launched it? I think I was creeping through your Facebook recently, but I want to make sure that was the right business.
Yeah, I've actually been doing it for steadily for a few years now, but not taking the official steps to make it a solid. I have my DBA, but that's as far as that's gone.
Got it.
Yeah.
So que le explica que ya su negocio ya lleva varios años, ella trabaja con bizcochitos, todo tipo de idea que se puede comprar en una panadería, lo hace todo online y ya es lista haciendo postres ya definidos como el cliente lo quiera. Thank you, Kayla. Next, I see Grace. How you doing, Grace?
Hi, I'm great today. Good evening or afternoon. It's been a long day. But I am Grace. I am starting a nonprofit mentor program, a wellness and faith program for women girls aged 8 to 35. And it will be based on life skills, helping the girls find their purpose and honing into their strengths and weaknesses and creating action plans for them in areas of education, financially, emotionally, the curriculum of social, emotional, and mental health.
Thank you, Grace. You're a little on and off, but I feel like every time you share about your business, I know a little bit more. Grace explica que tiene un tipo de negocio que ya fue lanzado, que se enfoca en ayudar mujeres que necesitan ayuda, especialmente tipo de coaching en su vida, sea en la parte de educación o otro tipo de formas educativas. Thank you, Grace. Next, let's see. Matt. How are you doing, Matt? Let's see.
I'm good. How are you?
Better today.
Is it working better today?
It sounds wonderful. Tanya, good job.
Good. I got a new microphone.
Oh, okay. I thought Tanya had great. Good job. We can hear you so
So I'm in the planning stages of my business. My name is Matt, and I am trying to make a coffee shop by day, and by nighttime it's going to be a sober bar and LGBT club.
Nice. You know, I've always wondered how come drink type companies haven't thought of combining coffee and alcoholic drinks before. Not necessarily do it at the same time, but like you're doing it, right? Sometime with just the coffee for the coffee drinkers, and then so I like that idea.
Thank you.
Mara explica que está en la parte, está intentando comenzar y lanzar su negocio. En el día quiere que sea una cafetería, pero en la noche ya sea una barra. Thank you, Matt. Next, I see Jacoby. How you doing, Jacoby?
Hey there, I'm doing all right. How are you guys? I am still in the planning stages of founding a nonprofit that will be directed toward assisting people in marginalized populations that are experiencing food insecurity to have fresher, healthier food. There's a lot of food banks that distribute donated foods that are canned, boxed. They're very high sodium and low quality, high calorie foods that are mostly carbohydrates. There's not a lot of fruits and vegetables and that sort of thing, fresh eggs, that kind of stuff. So I will be distributing those foods to people in need in the area.
Nice. Thank you, Jacoby.
Thank
I think that was the best explanation you've done yet of your non-for-profit.
Thank you.
Jacoby explica que está lanzando una compañía que se enfoca en ayudar gente que están en situaciones inseguras de comida, pero en vez de solamente guardar comida en latas o comida que tal vez no sea, que tengamos dudas si honestamente tienen los nutrientes necesarios, él quiere que esta compañía esté enfocada específicamente en eso, traer los nutrientes necesarios para gente que necesitan comida. I feel like that went longer in Spanish than I needed to be. Next, I have María Cartagena.
Buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es María Cartagena. Mi plan de negocio es para un custom made gift shop, regalos para todas ocasiones, y ahora mismo estoy en la etapa de comienzo. Gracias.
Thank you, María. María has a custom gift company that she's launching. And thank you, Maria. That was great. Let's see, Sherelle.
Hello, my name is Sherelle, and I'm in the beginning stages of a event venue.
Can you explain a little bit more what that is?
Oh, it's an event space where I'm going to be hosting birthday parties, small weddings, repasts, things of that nature.
Thanks. Love it. Sherelle explica que está lanzando una compañía de eventos donde se puede hacer cualquier tipo de evento que puedan pensar, sea desde bodas hasta cumpleaños. Hey, Lauren.
Hi there, I'm Lauren. I am partnering with Amy. We own Charlie's Canine Camp. We will be offering canine boarding, training, grooming, and daycare.
I love it. You guys like memorized it together. You know exactly what the service is.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a few years.
Lauren es socia con Amy y explica que la compañía que van a lanzar físicamente este año incluye servicios para cuidar perros. Kimberly, finally, it is the Kimberly that we accidentally called on this morning. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? So my name's Kimberly, and I am in the process of opening a tumbling gym facility in Newark. I have pretty much the beginning parts of it or the setup, but I'm in the process of getting like equipment and finalizing on like training and stuff like that.
What kind of gym is it?
It's a tumbling. It's going to be training for all cheerleading.
Got it. Okay. Tanya, our Finger Lakes director, is actually from that town.
She is my youngest daughter's cheer coach.
Nice. Okay. Makes sense.
That's
Kimberly,
how we know each other.
nice. Kimberly es una entrenadora que está abriendo su propio local para ayudar con cualquier tipo de entrenamiento, específicamente con cheerleading. Yari.
Sí, hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Yaritza. Actualmente estoy en el proceso de emprendimiento. Todavía no tengo nada, negocio propio, pero estoy aquí pues para seguir aprendiendo.
¿Qué tipo de negocio?
Es de bebidas y comida.
Bebida y comida. Okay. Yari is in the ideation stage of a restaurant. Could we say restaurant, Yari?
Yeah, like a small place.
Okay.
You know, like a coffee shop.
Nice. Thank you. Brenda Rivera.
Hola, saludos, buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Brenda Rivera, soy del área de Tonawanda, New York. Estoy building my compañía, va a ser de housekeeping residencial y comercial. Y dentro de los programas que quiero incluir va a ser poder ayudar a las personas que tengan condiciones médicas como cáncer y personas mayores de edad. Es algo que lo cual pues me mueve mucho a querer aportar en esta área. Así que nada, estamos aquí para aprender.
Bien. Y me recuerdas una vez más, ¿están lanzando la compañía? ¿Ya la compañía ya está trabajando?
No, todavía no. Estoy en el proceso de building, my branding, you know, cómo lo quiero hacer, ¿me entiendes? Estoy buscando pues información, cómo estructurar todo, pues todo lo que necesito, tipos de pues productos y demás, o sea, todo lo que conlleva esta línea específica de negocio.
Okay. Gracias, Brenda.
Gracias.
Brenda is in the ideation stage of a residential and commercial cleaning company. Next, I have Nelly.
Hello, I am going in this business with my cousin Jackie. I'm not sure she's flagged in here yet. But our idea is a bar and lounge over in the Wayne County area. The idea is to have a nice place where people can go for drinks and appetizers, maybe a place before going out to dinner or going to an event. We are in the beginning stages, hence the reason why we.
Nice. Welcome, Nelly. Nelly explica que está en la parte inicial de su compañía, es barra y también un local de evento en el condado de Wayne. I do want to know, we have people from Tonawanda, from the county of Wayne, we have from Newark. I know we have a gentleman here from the county of Changmun, other one in the southern tier. So I have to say, this is pretty nice, wide range cohort we have here. Okay, so I feel like people are moving around. So I think Jesselyn Cruz.
Sí, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Jesselyn Cruz. No, actualmente no tengo ningún negocio, pero sí tengo la idea para hacer un negocio de donuts en sweet treats. Estoy estructurando y aprendiendo para poder llevar a cabo la idea.
Qué dulzura, gracias. Jesslyn explains that she's in the ideation stages of a company focusing on sweets, donuts, all those kinds of ideas. Imani. Imani, if you're in earshot, do you mind sharing a bit about your business idea? You're muted, by the way.
Oh, that's nice. So my name's Imani. I am in the early phases of my business, like the planning phase right now. I am focused on a health and wellness center that will be subjectively focused on like self-care for people.
Nice. Thank you, Imani. That was very clear cut. I like your intro there.
Thank you.
Imani está en la parte de lanzar su negocio, se enfoca en un centro donde se enfoca en la self-care, que en ayuda en su propia, en salud o en características físicas. Next, I see Anita. Anita, if you can hear us. Oh, there you go. Anita says, my name is Anita. I am on the planning stages of a non-for-profit community farm to table and eventually manage a community farmers market. Anita, thank you so much that every time you're willing to type, even though the microphone doesn't work. Anita explica que está trabajando en su compañía donde trabaja sobre productos en granjas directamente a las mesas y eventualmente quiere trabajar con mercados. And then I'll personally introduce some of our partners here. Personalmente voy a introducir nuestros asociados aquí. First, I see Maribel Torres. Welcome, Maribel. Maribel, actually, why don't you introduce yourself?
You say you're going to do it. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here and see so many familiar faces that I have been talking to you guys. So I am so super happy to be here. My name is Maribel. I have a business. I have been a personal coach and of course, a Zumba instructor. But I have my own personal business and I go everywhere. So I do a lot of mobile fitness and nutrition advisory and trainers. And also I have another business with Amigas Conectadas, helping women, Latinas women, of course, and everyone else are welcome for personal development and any business coaching. So thank you. And I'm super happy to be here.
Ahora di todo eso en español.
Ok, mi nombre es Maribel, estoy muy contenta por estar aquí con todos ustedes y viendo caras familiarizadas aquí, que yo he hablado con todas ustedes, o me encanta que estén aquí. Yo tengo un negocio que se llama Fit Balance, yo estoy mobile, no sé cómo se dice eso, pero voy a diferentes sitios educando a las personas con nutrición y con el fitness. También soy una personal trainer, soy una coach de ejercicio y también de Zumba, y para todos. Y también tengo una compañía una organización que se llama Amigas Conectadas, ayudando a las personas como todos ustedes al desarrollo personal y de negocio.
Thank you so much, Maribel. Maribel is one of our latest partners that you'll see as we develop the cohort, how her organization will become more crucial in your business development. Mientras continuamos la evaluación de nuestro cohort aquí, verán cómo asociaciones como Maribel nos va a ayudar en su negocio. Next, I have Barb. Barb, I always introduce you, but why don't you take some time to share with us what you do over at the commissary?
Sure. My name is Barb Glassman, and I am currently the interim president at the Rochester Commissary. That's a downtown kitchen incubator. So we help both existing and about to launch businesses launch their businesses, expand, use our space at a cost-effective way, rather than building out their own retail without necessarily having their market developed or their products fully refined. So I'm over here. We do whatever we can to help businesses grow. We hold outside events for revenue generation and also an opportunity to display our members, just like you have the La Marqueta over there in the Clinton corridor. So I have been partnering with Augustine for the last 2 years and very much looking forward to growing our relationship. Thank you for having me tonight.
Thank you, Barb. Barb explica que ella es la presidenta del the Commissary Kitchen Downtown Incubator es un local así como Ibero Business Center que se enfoca en emprendedores que están en su etapa de negocio de lanzar o crecer o expandir, y específicamente para compañías que están enfocadas en comida. Esto es un buen socio que se puede considerar para referencia porque te puede ayudar a comenzar el negocio en una forma de gasto bajo para poder lanzar tu negocio antes de eventualmente buscar ese local con 4 paredes y tu propio lease. Thank you, Barb. Do you want to mention about the upcoming March 31st events? This might be a great networking opportunity for many of our food businesses here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Augustine. So we are having our second annual fundraiser. It is taking place on March 31st. I'll put some information in the chat later on for folks to be able to pick up on. It will display about 30 of our 60 members are choosing to give out sampling for the night. It is going to have a couple of cocktails with your ticket, DJ spinning vinyl, and just a really fun party. If you want to come out and get a sample of some of the up and coming restaurants, we'd love to have you come by and take a look. There'll be tours, a couple of demos, an ice sculpture. We're pretty excited about just a fun party on the 31st of March.
Nice. Barbara explica que en su propio local allí en East Main Street en marzo 31 van a tener una oportunidad bien grande donde van a poder ofrecer 30 de sus 60 negocios de comida que van a dar en porciones pequeñas sobre su producto y sus servicios. Estos son negocios así como ustedes que están empezando o que ya han lanzado y están tratando su producto y necesitan consumidores. So, consideren esta oportunidad para aprender sobre negocios que tal vez están 1 o 2 etapas al frente de ustedes. Yeah, definitely make sure you post that on the chat, Barb.
Yep, I'm putting it out there now. Thank you so much for that reminder. I need your help. Thank you.
And lastly, I know that Irv, I think he's driving, so I'll introduce him. Irv is faculty and also head of one of the leaders over at the Business School of Business at Roberts Wesleyan University. Irv and I have partnered in launching the fall business cohort that we did that in person and bilingual, and he'll continue to help us with one-on-one mentoring, specifically through his SCORE connection. Irv es un maestro, también uno de los líderes de la Escuela de Negocios en Roberts Wesleyan University. Él se ha asociado con Ibero y nos ayudó a lanzar el primer curso bilingüe en el otoño pasado, y también se enfoca en mentorar 1 a 1 y especialmente con su asociación con SCORE. So those are all our partners. I did notice that right at the last minute, Luis Sierra joined us. Luis, if you don't mind introducing yourself, just what your business is, what stage of your business in, and what do you do?
Hi, thank you. Nice to meet you, everyone. Hablo español, practicando el inglés un poco, ¿ven? Pues mi nombre es Luis Sierra y estoy representando una compañita que estoy tratando de hacer ambientalmente para hacer mejoras a la comunidad y mantener una ciudad limpia. Si queremos tanto la ciudad, a nuestros jóvenes, a nuestros niños, pues estoy tratando de hacer algo ambiental y remover los peligros en la comunidad.
Okay. Y
Me
Luis,
concentraría básicamente en construcción y limpiezas y remoción de equipos, materiales peligrosos.
Okay. ¿Y cómo está tu inglés? ¿Puedes repetir eso en inglés?
It's kind of hard, but yeah, my business is focused on clean, environmental. We remove all the hazard material, and we make sure to clean the city and for the future of the kids.
Nice.
So it's hard for me to explain everything. That's why I need support. I need to put everything together.
I don't know. You sound great, Luis. Welcome, man.
Thank you.
Well, with that said, all those who prefer Spanish, para todos que prefieren español, miren hacia abajo, al lado donde dice share screen, elijan su idioma para que Dani pueda empezar a interpretar lo que Andrew va a empezar a hablar, okay? So now for all those who are ready to jump into the Spanish interpretation section, just make sure that at the bottom you click in there. Danny will be interpreting everything Andrew says. Now, Andrew, I'm sure you've been warned before. Speak slowly. You don't have to go very slow by word, just one sentence. Take a few seconds, let Danny catch up, and we'll go from there. I'll share the screen here in a minute.
Sounds Augustine, good. Does everyone know how to get into the room?
Yes, I just explained it in Spanish.
The interpretation button down at the bottom.
Yep, I shared it in Spanish. Andrew, let me share it. Let me share the screen because I have your slides in Spanish as well. So if you don't mind getting off share.
Oh, I'm sharing?
Yes, someone's sharing.
Jacqueline.
Oh, Jacqueline. Hey, Jacqueline. Jacqueline, ¿me puedes sacarte de share screen? Gracias. Okay. The floor is yours, Andrew.
Awesome. Thank you. This was great so far, gang. I loved hearing about all the businesses that you're working on and all the various stages that you're in. And it looks like about 80 to 90% of you are in the creation stage, the ideation stage, coming up with what your business is going to be. Now, my goal for this session is by the time we're done, you might hopefully have a better idea of who your ideal customer is. And if you don't have that idea by the end of our discussion today, you'll have the tools to find that out. Now, the reason we want to focus on an ideal customer, I'll talk about in just a second, but I'll kind of outline in our next slide here what we're going to cover today. So we're going to talk about why you need an avatar. And I'll probably also explain what an avatar is so we can be clear on what that means. I'm going to talk about how to create and continue to refine your avatar, and then how to start building a marketing plan to turn your prospects into leads and your leads into customers. Now, based on time today, we may not get to that last piece, but I'll at least introduce the idea for you. All right, so we'll head to our next slide. So we'll talk about why you need an avatar. So in order to sell your product or service effectively, you're going to need to stand out. That's going to be a critical piece of your business. You need to stand out amidst the chaos of advertising and impressions that are going on every day. They say currently in the course of a week, each of us receives more stimulus and notifications and advertisements and media and information than people did 2,000 years ago in their entire lifetime. So think in 1 week, we get more than some people used to in an entire lifetime. There is a lot that comes at us. And in order to stand out, you need to be speaking directly to your ideal customer. And that's all that avatar means. So when you hear avatar, when I'm referring to this, that means your ideal customer, that imaginary person that we're creating in our mind that we're destined to serve. More companies go out of business due to lack of sales than they do from lack of insurance or from not having the perfect business cards or for not having your website set up. You're more likely to go out of business because you're not making sales. And a big piece of that is because you don't know who you're trying to sell to. Who is going to buy this product or this service that you've created? Now we're going to focus on the fundamentals. We're going to talk about bringing money into your business. So I would encourage you to do that first before you focus on the frills, before you focus on the fun stuff, which is the branding or some of the like more exciting stuff. Figure out how you're going to bring money in. And that has to do with your ideal customer. And we need to find out who that ideal customer is so that we can get them in the door to serve them well. So to have a steady amount of sales, we need to take total strangers and turn them into customers. More than likely, you're not going to be able to run this business based off of friends and family patronizing your business by themselves. You're going to need other people to come in. And at some point, they're going to start off as a stranger. And so we need to come up with a way that we're going to be able to get in front of that stranger and turn them into a friend, turn them into a loyal customer. In order to find those strangers, we need to know who our avatar is. So we'll go ahead and move to the next slide. So I'll tell you just quickly about me. I currently work as a coach at a company called selfpublishing.com, but I also own my own business where I do speaking and coaching. And I want to talk a little bit about some of the avatar types that we have in the company that I work in right now. So at selfpublishing.com, we help people publish their books. So all the way from coming up with the idea of it, all the way through the creation process, through book production, through publishing it, and figuring out how to market and find the audience. And we have 3 key and core avatars that we use to describe our ideal type customers. And I'm only going to talk about one of them, but you can reference these slides later to kind of help get an idea of who we talk about here. So today I'll just talk about Susie. And Susie has known for a long time that she's wanted to write a book. She's finally ready to take the leap and put it out there. She's new to writing and a novice when it comes to business. Her book will be a passion project that she hopes can help other people. Now, we've gotten very specific with who Susie is. And the reason is we want to be able to find where Susie lives. We want to know what Susie does in her free time. We want to know roughly how old Susie is. We want to know what her passions are. What does she get excited about? What does she watch on TV? These all help to play into who your avatar is, who this ideal customer is. Now we're going to be getting very specific. And a lot of people worry that by getting too specific, you're going to rule out too many people for your business. By saying exactly who you want to serve, who your very best customer is, the worry is that you're going to exclude too many people to run an effective business. In truth, the opposite is true. Most people make their business too general. They make it for everyone. And when you make something for everyone, you actually target no one. Your advertising won't land. Your business won't stand out from the crowd. It won't feel special. So looking at your ideal avatar, you're going to create your business for them, and you're going to have to customize it a little bit to match their wants and their needs. A good example is somebody was talking about a tumbling gym. So with a tumbling gym, targeting cheerleaders is going to be, in a sense, the target market. But that also has a second market as well. So you're targeting teens and maybe post-teens, but the real financiers, the people who are paying for that, are going to be the parents. And so you're serving 2 target markets. And so you're going to want a couple avatars that are your targets, or maybe one avatar family. That's the family that you're going to target. So we'll go ahead and move to the next slide, and we'll talk about how to identify your avatar. So treat this like a workshop section right now. If you have paper and pen available, or if you're welcome to Alt-Tab and start typing into a document right here. The goal of this is that you can walk away today with a clearer picture of who you are meant to serve. If you know who you're meant to serve, you're going to be able to find them. You're going to be able to sell to them, and you're going to be able to stay in business. So let's start here. There's sounded like about 3 businesses that are currently up and running. And so for the rest of us, we're going to do a little imagination exercise. So for those that have a business, I want you to think about who are your current best customers. And for those that don't have a business up and running yet, I want you to imagine who your best customers might be. I want you to think about who and how and where you might find them. What is it that makes them a best customer? So I'm going to give you maybe 30 seconds right now. Write out who's your best customer, and you can name them by name. If you know, like, oh, Sally always comes in. She's here every Tuesday, or she's here 5 days a week. And I wish I could clone Sally. I wish I had 100 of her to patronize my store. That's the type of person you want to base your avatar on. So take a minute right now, 30 seconds to a minute, and imagine who your avatar is. Who is that best customer?
And just for those who are following along, remember that in today's section, for the business model canvas, we're filling out the little box that says customer segment. Yes, customer segment, which is exactly what Andrew is touching on. So if you have your business model canvas up, it's the last box to the right. And there you can start typing your notes on these questions that Andrew is asking.
Gonna give you another 20 seconds or so. I'm going to ask a few more questions now, run you through a few more prompts, and then we'll take another little bit of time for you to do some workshopping / brainstorming. So you can consider what gender or what religion or political affiliation or income, what are some of the distinguishing factors that you can look at in your ideal customer to identify who she is or who he is and how they stand out? What do they do in their free time? What do they do after they're done doing business with you? If they stop in to buy coffee, where do they go next? What's the next part of their day? Are they walking into an office or are they walking next door to buy pizza? What is it that they're going to be doing over the course of their day? Another question I want you to think about is, why will they choose to do business with you instead of your competitor who is cheaper and more convenient? And here's a little hint I want to give you. If you're trying to be the competitor that's cheaper and more convenient, you're probably going to lose that battle because it's a race to the bottom as far as price, and you're going to run yourself ragged trying to serve everyone. So my recommendation is take a little bit of a higher price point, but understand exactly who you're trying to serve and serve them very, very well. So I'm going to give you guys another minute to think and stew on some of these questions for your ideal avatar. All right, so we'll bring it back. And I definitely recommend, if you're still working on this, and you probably will be, keep refining this. And we'll talk a little bit about this later. But right now we'll go ahead and move to the next slide. Now I want to add a little bit of interactivity here. I want to kind of bring some people out a little bit. And one thing I want to talk about is some people that maybe already have a business. So I wrote down a couple people. Is it Kayla with the cake business? Would you be open to chiming in and sharing with us maybe who your ideal avatar is or who some of your best customers are?
Sure. Let me see what I wrote here. So I wrote for my best customers I found are people on social media through Facebook. That's pretty much where I get most of my inquiries and customers from. And also, since I'm posting my work constantly, they are sharing my posts. So other people are seeing them. Other strangers are now requesting to discuss like orders for the future.
Okay.
And what was the other question?
So what makes them the best customer? Do they buy more or are they just sharing about it more?
They usually buy more from me. And then just that sharing, that recommendation that they do, and just consistently sharing my work with other people, which then brings more people my way.
I love it. Are you okay if we spend another minute or so kind of digging into that a little bit?
Yeah, that's fine.
Awesome. One thing I want to know a little bit more about is, and maybe think of a couple of them specifically, though, that do share and that do promote you.
Okay.
How did they get to that stage? How did they get to a place where they're one of your raving fans?
Oh, I have a really good example. This was from last week, actually. My customer, she made a mistake on her order date. She ordered her cake 2 days later than her actual event. And it was actually a day when I had class here. So she messaged me, in a panic that she needed her cake. And I basically told her, I have class, I have to cook. There's a lot of things going on. And she messaged me asking, what about if I picked up at 11 p.m.? Would you dare do that? And I thought about her and I'm thinking, well, she's a consistent, loyal customer of mine. Every year, every event, she always orders from me. So I did it for her. And she was just extremely happy. She wrote a big review about how I did that for her, how I accommodated for her. And, she shared my work and how great it was. So that's, just one example. But my other customer, she's also I've made her baby shower cake, and then her baby turned 1. I made that cake every single year. She comes back and she's constantly letting people know who her cake lady is. So
I love it. I love it. And last question I have for you is there any common factors between these people that are your biggest fans? Have you been able to pick out anything? Maybe the way they've gotten introduced to you, maybe their income level, maybe it is the types of things they enjoy. Is there any commonalities that you've noticed?
Well, it's funny, they are from the same friend circle. They know the same group of people. They both followed me on Facebook. They were complete strangers. I don't even know how they found me, but they did. So, social media for me has been my biggest win as far as getting people to see my work and come towards me. So, and then just interacting with them, being friendly, things like that.
Awesome. Thank you. That's all here for. Thank you, Kayla. That was awesome. So I didn't tell her ahead of time that I was going to call on her. So thanks for being willing to kind of step up and share a little bit. I actually wanted to see if we can get one more person. And I'm going to kind of open this up. So anyone that currently has a business and that is currently serving customers and would like to share a little bit about who your ideal avatar is, who your best customers are, would love to hear a little bit more about it. Sometimes we learn best by hearing the specifics, even though the specifics aren't relevant to us. We kind of see some of the commonalities for our business.
So I don't mind sharing. I currently have a dog business, and Amy and I are in the process of opening a facility where they come to us rather than me going to them. So I pretty much know who my customers are because I've been doing it for 10 years. My avatar is Beth. She's a 46-year-old female. She's married and has one child that's grown and out of the house. She has a good paying job, and her husband also has a good paying job where they have expendable money, and they have 2 dogs that they treat like their children. She likes to go for walks with her dogs in her free time and watches movies with her husband and runs errands and chores. And she likes to travel a few times a year, and she's into sports and has some fun hobbies that she does at home. So that's my avatar. What was the other question?
Sure. Well, so first of all,
we keep it a little slower than Amy wants to interpret everything you're saying.
Love it. So first of all, let's give a hand. Okay. So everybody that just heard that is your goal. That's the goal of this type of an exercise. And it's not going to happen instantly, but the goal is to get to that place where you can rattle off a whole bunch of characteristics about your person, because that's going to really help you identify him or her and know where to find them. So Lauren, a follow-up question is for this avatar.
Mm-hmm.
Where and how did you hone in on that, and why these specific traits? What stood out about these certain traits?
So she's an actual client of mine, and she's one of my best ones. And when I picture an ideal client,
that's what I picture. She doesn't give me a hard time. She comes back over and over again. She refers me to other people. She's easy and I have fun with her. So she's my ideal client. So that's why she was the first one that came to my head.
I love that. Awesome. Let's get it. Give her a hand. Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you.
That was awesome. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So we'll go to the name your avatar.
Please place item in the.
And it looks like, is that Jesseline? Looks like you got some volume coming through here.
Please wait for assistance.
Awesome. So we're looking at naming your avatar. Now you notice that Lauren actually had a name for avatar. Now she actually had a person that was her avatar, a real living, breathing person. That was her ideal. My encouragement for you is that you're able to come up with a name for your avatar. You'll notice that the avatars in the business that I work in right now, that we have names for all three of them. There's Riley, there's Susie, and there's Jeff. And each of them tells a little bit of a different story. They're in a different place and they're coming to us from a different walk of life. And it's possible that your business has multiple avatars. There may be many people in your business that you serve. My recommendation is find the best one, the ideal one first, but you'll also find that there are some other ones that you serve as well. And it may be worth your time to really get this same idea wrapped around them as well. So some of your next steps, I want you to keep learning about him or her, whoever your avatar is. The more specific you can get, the more customers you will have. This sounds counterintuitive. It sounds like it doesn't make any sense. If I'm getting too specific, aren't I going to rule out people? I guarantee you will not. Because Lauren, she knows how to find those other ideal customers. She knows how to work that friend group. She knows where they go. She knows what some of their favorite bars are. She knows what some of their hobbies are. She knows what they do in their free time. And because she knows that, she's able to tap into that. She's able to get in front of them. She's able to advertise to them. She's able to recruit them into the business or have a friend recruit them into working with her in the business. So again, I encourage you, a product for everyone is a product for no one. When you know you've really narrowed in on your avatar, it should make you nervous that there's not enough people like that out there. That's when you know you've narrowed it down enough where you found a more specific person. All right, we'll go ahead and scroll to the next slide. Another crucial piece is going to be to know them, is to find ways to get in front of them. And there's a lot of different mediums to do this. We'll talk about in some of the slides coming up. A lot of ways to do this these days. We've heard social media marketing already brought up once, and there's many other ways. But what's going to be critical is you're going to need to very quickly tell them why they want to choose your business. And you want to add value to their life by speaking their language. And I say that a little tongue in cheek today because we have two languages going on currently. But we also want to speak in a way that they in particular understand. We want to say things and use words that they use. I used to be a personal trainer, and I learned all kinds of big words to describe the body. Adipose tissue. Most people have no idea what that means. It's body fat, right? In marketing, if we use the word adipose tissue, our target market, it's going right over their head. They're going to have no clue what we're talking about. Is it factually correct? Yes. Is it the accurate way to define it? Yes. Is that how we're going to market to our audience? No. We are not going to market that way because they're not going to understand it. So when you know your ideal customer, when you have this avatar nailed down, you're going to know the words that they like to use. You're going to know the things that they like to do and the way that they communicate. Let's go ahead and move to the next slide. Next phase here is have a marketing plan. Have a way that you're going to engage with this avatar. Now, there's ways that you can do that by spending money, and there's ways you can do that for free. And I would encourage you, especially in the early phases of business, have maybe a couple ways where you're spending money, but try and find as many ways where you can do it for free as possible. Now start thinking, how are you going to engage with them? Are you going to go and do speaking events? Are you going to utilize social media? Are you going to use some form of traditional advertising? Or are you going to use purposeful referrals? Get your current customers to refer new ones. Are you going to go out and shout on the street corner? As silly as that sounds, that's how newspapers used to get sold. And it worked very well for quite a while. So consider for your business, how is it you're going to find your ideal customer? When I used to work as a personal trainer, our ideal customer actually had a lot of overlap with Lauren. We served mostly women in their 40s and 50s who were looking to lose weight. They had a child or multiple children that had grown up and moved out of the house, or were teenagers and didn't really need their parents anymore. And so now mom is finding herself with extra time, and she's looking down at her body and she's realizing, oh my, what happened? And we want to step in that moment, and we want to be there to help her regain her fitness, help her with her health. And so we are going to be able to speak very specifically to her pain points. So here's something to keep in mind. With your marketing, typically you're going to do one of two things. One is you're going to poke their pain. You're going to address some of the challenging issues that they're experiencing. The other is you're going to open the door for opportunity. You're going to show them a better way. And a lot of the best advertising, you'll do both. You'll poke their pain and you'll show them a better way. And that better way is your way. And that's really how you're going to get your ideal customer, this avatar. That's how you're going to turn them from someone who's a total stranger and get them to take the risk of buying from you. And that's something else we need to keep in mind, is these people that are coming to buy from you, they don't know you. It's a risky proposition to spend money with you. The higher your price point, the bigger the risk. Now, a cup of coffee is a lower risk. A larger cleaning contract, that might be a higher risk. And you're going to need to understand what it takes to move somebody along in your marketing process to the spot where they're comfortable taking the risk with you. Often with coffee, it's as simple as, oh, look, it's a coffee shop and it's right here. That may be all it takes to take the risk. But sometimes it'll be a little bit more, especially as the coffees get more expensive, or especially as the opportunity gets a little bit more difficult if they have to drive across town to take advantage of the opportunity. So we'll go ahead and move to our next slide here. So to close that one out, make sure as you're considering your marketing, tie it back to your avatar and know, who is my avatar, where are they, and what are they looking for? Because when you know your avatar, you're going to know where to find them, and you're going to know where and how to market to them. So what I want to end with today is keep experimenting. Now, Lauren mentioned that she's been in business for 10 years, and she has seen a lot of customers come and go. And hopefully you all get that same opportunity to see plenty of customers come and go. You're going to have some customers that are a nightmare, that you hate working with. Kayla mentioned a customer that needed an emergency cake at the, ordered it at the wrong time. If every customer of hers was like that on every single order, that would be a nightmare business. And those would be nightmare customers, because it would be too much to manage. It would demand too much of you. But she knew that this was an ideal customer who had come back many, many times, And this was a one-time exception. So my encouragement is have some systems in place to identify who your worst customers are and ensure that maybe they don't come back quite as often. So let's talk about experimentation. It's unlikely that you're going to have the right marketing plan when you start out. It's unlikely that you will have the perfect avatar figured out when you start out. You're going to have a lot of assumptions, a lot of ideas in your head about the way things go. The key is when your head gets to reality and reality is different, you need to change what's going on in your head. You're going to need to be able to adapt to whatever the data is telling you. If you're spending money on a marketing initiative and there's no proof that anyone has used your business because of it, at a certain point, it may make sense to start investing your money elsewhere. Now, it's your sole responsibility as the business owner and the person in charge of this to find that marketing plan as soon as possible, to find those ideal customers as soon as possible. They will be the lifeblood of your business. Raise your hand if you've heard of the 80-20 rule. Anybody heard of that? The idea that often 80% of something comes from a small minority, 20% of something. And they found this in Italy as far as landowners. They found that 20% of the population owned about 80% of the land. Same goes for your customers. Often your 20%, your best customers, those top end customers, they're going to make up the lion's share of your business. Those people patronizing your coffee shop, those people coming to your restaurant, those people paying for your cleaning services. All of them are going to impact your bottom line, but some of them are going to have a massive impact on your bottom line. And those are the customers that we want more of. So let's talk about ways that you can continue to grow and improve and to keep experimenting. I definitely recommend reading and listening to books. Books are a fast way to learn. I like them better than podcasts, and I like them better than a lot of other learning opportunities because a professional, someone who is extremely skilled at one particular thing, has taken the time to refine their thoughts into one message that they deliver through a book. Often in one book, there's packed with 40 years or more of experience and lessons. Understand that when you open a book, you're getting almost a mentor stepping into your life, showing you the way. I cannot recommend books and listening to books enough. Another thing to try, ask others in your industry how they did it. Now, you may not ask your direct competitors around the corner. They may not want to share that with you, but you can ask people in other towns, other cities, other countries. What have they done to help build their business? How did they find their best customers? What are some marketing tactics that they use in order to bring in new customers? Another thing you can do is once you're open, ask your current customers why they chose you. More than likely, there's several options on the market. And so there's a reason they came to you. Was it because you're the cheapest? Was it because you came highly recommended? Was it because of your advertising? Was it because they were looking for somebody and your name just happened to come up at that right time? Now, that last one, if you're good at marketing and you're good at getting in front of the right people, you're going to start to hear that one more often because people are going to start having their problem. Maybe they need caffeine. Maybe they need to get their child enrolled in something. Maybe they have a challenge where a nonprofit opportunity is going to make a lot of sense. And then all of a sudden, your company, your business, your solution happens to appear. And to them, it's going to seem like magic. It's going to seem like divine intervention and like they have to go with you because you showed up at that right time. But to you, You showed up there because you know exactly who your customers are and you know what their needs are. And you spoke their language and you said it in a way that connected at the moment they needed it. So what we'll do right now is we'll move to the next slide here and we'll open up for questions. I want to make sure we take a little bit of time today to make sure we get questions answered as far as ideal avatar and then how to kind of move them along your sales process. We didn't have quite enough time for that today, but I can definitely answer questions on that.
Para los que hablan español, hay preguntas sobre que quisieran hablarle al maestro sobre la idea de un avatar.
I have a question.
Sure.
You mentioned about speaking with people. And I find that it's difficult for me sometimes to just speak to random people. I can get nervous. And then when I do speak to them, sometimes I'll stutter or, I just don't feel like I sound professional enough. So you said that and I immediately thought, are there classes or things that we can look into that can help us to prepare to speak to just customers, to strangers, people in general with confidence?
Sure. Now you're talking about on a one-on-one basis or a one-to-many basis?
One-on-one.
Sure. My best recommendation for that is repetition. Just go and do it. And if you're not able to get immediate repetition, utilize some of the people in this group. One thing that you may not be really thinking of right now is they are forcing you to hone your pitch every single call. You guys notice that Augustine is like, hey, that's the best you've ever said it. Do you know why? Because it's more than likely the third or fourth or fifth or sixth or 20th or 30th time or 50th time that you've said something.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. I'll build off that point a little bit more too, is look at the time that you have outside of these calls and consider trying to help each other out outside of the four walls of the Zoom call. Try and help each other with your pitch. Try and help each other with the way you present yourself. Role playing is weird, quite frankly. It feels awkward for both people. But by role playing, you get to make funny and silly mistakes without making it live and in person. And there's a reason that really effective sales teams do a large amount of role play. It's because it allows them to learn their process, learn the way they're speaking, get a better handle on how to present and how to come off well. So I would definitely recommend either partnering up, getting in small groups, finding a way to role play, not just here on this call, but outside here as well.
Can I say something about that too?
Sure.
To piggyback off Andrew, is there a way that we can possibly share each other's emails that are within the group so that maybe, like I would love to be able to do a Zoom with Kayla, as long as everybody's okay with sharing email addresses. I wasn't sure, we could do it, schedule times and stuff that work for, my busy schedule, and I'm sure everybody else's busy schedule. That Zoom is a great tool that we could use to kind of help each other and boost each other through this process.
That is a great question, Amy. We recently just started building a participants list right here under the homepage entrepreneur participant list. We've started adding names and the business idea as we hear them, but if everyone's okay with that, we can absolutely be including the contact information. But so far we've started the list, we just haven't fully developed it yet. If anyone's against this idea, please just let us know. We can absolutely make sure we don't omit that information. But I would assume as entrepreneurs, we're looking to sell, we're looking to grow, and we can absolutely amend this list to make sure it's updated.
Yeah, it's all about, supporting each other as we start off in this venture too, and boosting our confidence, which helps everything kind of come full circle.
Yeah, I need to add Louise and Jacqueline, who just joined us today here as well on this list.
Okay. I want to mention something. Now that we're talking about the avatar and all this stuff, for me, everything is new. Because I try to do my business, I got a target who's gonna be my customer. But actually, I don't know who's the best one because I don't know how to reach them. So I got the Rochester Housing Authority, I got a City of Rochester, and I got a Ibero Development as well to do rehab and do back-end cleaning apartment and stuff like that. But I'm not focused on doing environmental removal and working for the city. But I don't know how to get there with them. I don't know how to get touch. And the way that she say, the lady just say it's hard to explain and talk one-on-one with them when we're talking about project, we're talking about specification and everything that is more professional, deep in the specification of the plans and everything. It's hard to get to that level. But I'm thinking with all my certification and all my business putting together and the service that I'm gonna provide, I think that I can get there and get the best one of them. I think Ibero is one of my best pinch. I think in the best customer.
For sure. And to comment on that quick idea is, you've identified some ideal customers, some people who could give you quite a bit of business, could keep you busy for a while. And a couple ways to get in front of that ideal customer is, one, look at who's already working for them, who's already serving them in maybe a similar capacity or a slightly different capacity. So if you're looking to do, work in kind of one silo, maybe there's someone else doing work in a similar silo that's a little bit different. But reach out to them, ask them, hey, how did you get started working with the city? How did you get started working with this customer? And often they'll just tell you. They'll say, oh, well, I submitted an application. I did X, Y, and Z. Or they'll say, oh, I met so-and-so and we had a great conversation. It turned into an offer and it went this way. And it may be a warm way to get introduced instead of a cold way to get introduced. And so often when we talk about marketing, we're talking about cold prospects, people who've never heard of us. And often when someone reaches out to us cold, it's kind of icky, right? We don't like the term cold calling. And then when we reach out, sometimes it just falls on deaf ears. But if someone I know, someone I like, someone I trust introduces me to somebody, I'm much more likely to accept an appointment, take a call, or at least hear them out.
Can I share something really quick?
Sure.
Hello, everyone, again. Lo voy a decir en español y después lo puedo decir en inglés. I'm going to say it in Spanish and then in English. Para aquellos que están haciendo su negocio en el principio, como Keila, que estaba diciendo que ella no se atreve a hablar con las personas, yo lo que recomiendo, bueno, no lo recomiendo, pero lo que yo hacía, que me trabajó muy bien, fue los eventos de ventas. Los eventos de ventas, uno puede conocer personas ahí y eso te da la oportunidad de estar más tranquila hablando con las personas y buscando quién es tu customers, los clientes tuyos. Eso te hace también más, te ayuda a desarrollar esa habilidad para hablar con las personas y buscar el cliente que tú quieres. También puedes hacer en las ventas, puedes hacer un survey o un cuestionario y ahí también lo puedes dejar que yo lo llene y te ayuda también a crecer en negocio y a desarrollarte. Muy, muy bueno. También usamos mucho la social media, pueden ir a grupos que sean de negocios de donde ustedes están, donde el negocio que ustedes están haciendo. So, for me, what works the best is like, I'm very outgoing, so I'm not afraid to talk to people. But what I would, share with you guys that I can go to vendors event, and in vendors event, I can either be the client or I can be the vendor. And in that way, you can show your business, you can present your business. And if you have an idea, you can start talking to other people because they have their own businesses as well. And also networking events. And we use social media nowadays, so we can go to the specific groups, entrepreneurs groups that you can become member, you can join them, and you can just read their status or ask questions. So, but it is your business, es tu negocio. You need to make sure that how bad do you want it, so that makes you to go and talk to people. So you don't need to learn to talk to people. You need to just be brave and bold, to go and talk to you people and know exactly what you want. So tú tienes que ser valiente para hablar con la otra persona. No necesitas aprender a hablar con otra persona para ofrecer tu negocio. Es como que ¿cuánto tú quieres este negocio? ¿Cuánto tú quieres ser exitoso? So how bad do you want it? How bad successful you want to be? So that's my, 5 cents.
Love it. Awesome. So gang, I need to kind of end off because I think you guys have some other stuff to work on. So one thing, I'm going to end with these 2 thoughts. So one is connect with me, please. I just shot you guys a link in the chat. That's my LinkedIn. It's my primary social media. So definitely connect with me. Would love to help and assist and connect you to anybody that I can. I love networking and I love helping other entrepreneurs. And last piece I want to end with here is we talked a lot about avatar, and I was hoping maybe to get into kind of the sales pipeline, but understand this, your avatar starts off more than likely as a cold prospect. And as soon as you can get in front of them in some way, you start to warm them up a little bit. And as you warm them up, whether it's through social media, through email marketing, or through them just stopping by your business or just hearing about you from friends, however they're hearing about you, however they're learning about you, eventually they'll turn into a customer. They'll attempt to patronize your business. And your goal is, when they finally do, knock their socks off, because then they'll become a repeat customer. They'll want to come back again and again. All right, gang. Thank you so much for having me, and have a good rest of your night.
Thank you so much, Andrew.
Awesome, Andrew. Thank you.
And if you guys could remember to go to evaluations and just give us a quick evaluation on Andrew, we would very much appreciate that. We're going to take 5-minute break. Does that sound good? Okay, we're going to take a 5-minute break. So we'll come back at 7:16 and get started again.
Hi, everyone. So let's see where we are here. Pardon me. Augustine, you've just pulled this up right now, right? The business model canvas?
Yep, I could pull them as questions too when we jump in if you like.
Okay, so I'm going to get started. Sorry, I'm going to just get my screen right. So what we want to think about tonight, we're going to do a few things. We just want to make sure that everyone is current. So with the business model canvas. So just as a reminder, a business model is just it's just a plan describing how your business is going to make money and how what are the variables that go into that. The business model canvas, which part of this class is all about, is these 9 building blocks of just describing the variables that would go into your business. Business plans from the old days, and people do still write business plans. I know Amy and Lauren have been through this. My recollection is, can be many, many pages long. In the past, people have written business plans 50, 100 pages. This business model canvas is designed for you to be able to look at one page and look at all these different variables that are part of your business. So we're working on 9 blocks, and so far with our classes, pardon me, still working on my screen here. So far with our classes, we've gone through 4 of these building blocks. So we've gone through the value propositions, we've gone through the customer segment, we've gone through the channels. Actually, tonight, Tanya's going to review the customer relationship. So that will be our 4th one. And then on Thursday, we'll talk about revenue streams. These are the questions sort of on the right side of the canvas, which are really sort of external to the work and not necessarily what you're doing internally with the business. But we want to make sure that everyone has tonight got like 2 solid, thoughtful sentences for the 3 boxes so far that we've discussed. So we have your value proposition, and I know Jacqueline and Luis are new tonight, but we take that box in the middle, and what Augustine is showing on the screen, this is all on the website, on the Google site. So what you're gonna, pardon me, one second, we're communicating something here. So we just want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to be writing down these questions. And don't worry about it, Augustine, if we can't come up with the exact questions. I have them here, but what we want to remind you is here, what he's showing you there on the screen is when you go to the main page of the Google site, where you first go to get the Zoom link, and you scroll down in Espanol and in English, you'll find the business model canvas. It's 2 pages. 1 page is going to be with each block defining how you answer the questions within that block. And then the second page is just a blank one that you can use. You can download these and you can use them and start filling them in. Now, perhaps you've already done this, but just in case you haven't, that's what the blank one looks like, what Augustine has pulled up. And it's a great opportunity for you just to download the one you prefer and begin filling it in, typing in some sentences. It's okay to put handwritten notes on a piece of paper, but at some point we need you to type these in full sentences, exactly what Andrew was just saying. He was talking on both of these. He was speaking very specifically about the customer segment. So that's the box on the right. Customer segments on the top right. For whom are we creating value? He describes it as an avatar. For a lot of people describe it as who's your target market. But for whom are we creating value? Who is our most important customer? That's the question that you want to be able to write that down. I know a few of you have already clearly stated who this is. And pardon me a second. It's whoops. Sorry, Augustine, I sent you something that I shouldn't have. So for whom, the question is really just for whom are we creating value? So if you want to write this down, and it's written right here, Augustine, it's fine. It's right in the business model canvas. So these questions are there and you want to try to answer them. So let's pause for a moment. And again, we're gonna answer these three. We're gonna have something written down right now for the value proposition. Let's start with the value proposition. We'll go to the customer segments and then we'll go to channels. So we're going to start with the value proposition. Make sure that each of you, and I know some of you, you're stating this when you're introducing yourselves. So a lot of you already have this, but just double check, take a minute to say, yep, I have my value proposition. But the question you're answering is, what problem does my business solve? And how do I solve it? What value am I, they call it a value proposition, but you're solving a problem. So what problem is your product or service solving? So just let's pause for a minute, take a minute and make sure everybody has a chance to write that down. And if you have it already, just reflect. It's okay just to breathe. Everyone just relax. Okay, so the value proposition of what problem do we solve? And another thing, I think Andrew, I really loved his presentation, having heard, talked about this topic for many years, but he did it very clearly. And especially just saying like, how is what you're doing going to be different than what your competition is doing? Like, why would I go to you and not go to someone who's closer and cheaper? Because you're doing something better, and that's what you just want to remember. Okay, so I appreciate everyone taking a few minutes. Do we want any more time, or do you have enough time? Do you feel like does anybody want to chime in on that? Do you feel like you have had a chance to at least get a sentence, a couple sentences down? Okay. I am going to move on to the next segment. So check your, we're gonna go to customer segments. So for whom are we creating value? This is what we just spent the last hour talking about. So think about what Andrew was talking about. And we had a really good question last week from, pardon me, I forget who asked it, Anita maybe, but somebody regarding the, you know, we thought that we might want to expand our offerings to people of all different ages. Like what I really liked was he's very specific about, hey, when you market to everyone, you market to no one. So it does seem a little, you know, like you're going to limit your sales if I only go for this narrow definition of my customer. But really, it's a clear definition, not a narrow definition. So think about, for whom are we creating value? Who's our most important customer? It doesn't mean there won't be other customers. There will be others, but think about the customer segment. And I was kind of thinking about, like, if you go into a large store, let's take a department store like a Target or a Walmart, like even a Walmart has different customer segments. They're selling auto supplies. They sell craft supplies. Is that the same customer? Probably two different customers. They sell children's clothes. That's another customer. So they have a lot of different types of customers. So they're marketing to all of those people in a different way. So when you have like these different types of customers, so even like Amy and Lauren's canine, Charlie's Canine Camp, the people that are coming in for grooming may not be getting the exact same marketing that they're going to get for like maybe daily, you know, boarding or other types of messaging is going to be just a little bit different depending on who your customer segment is. So take a minute right now and make sure that you have let's start with 2 full sentences of who you think your customer segment is. And then I'm going to stop talking just for a minute, because you're going to need this for the pitch competition. And we don't want to be trying to, you know, you're here, you've set aside the time tonight to be working. And Augustine doesn't like you to have homework. So we don't want you to have to go home and do anything at home. We want you can think about it, but try to do it here now. So work on the customer segment questions. For whom are we creating value? Who's our most important customer? And write a couple sentences. And I know some of you already have this, but let's just make sure everybody does. And if anyone has any questions, please feel free just to ask them or put them in the chat. And if you don't mind, so I'm getting a couple direct messages, but I'd like to, Kimberly, if it's okay with you, I think we could answer your question. It might be helpful for others too. So Kimberly has a question regarding her tumbling gym, which is for training cheerleaders, I believe she said, and that it's a big group of different types of customers with ages from 4 years to 18. But the primary service is training. So you're going to have different segments of your customer population. So you can say my segments are going to be 4 to 8 years old, or 4 and 5 years old, or like just you could break them into age groups. So you're going to have multiple age groups. They're going to be coming at different times. They're going to have different services, but it's all about the gym. It's about the gymnastics that you're training them for this particular sport, if that's what it is. So I would say that you want to just define it as, you're providing a very specific training, gymnastics training used in the cheerleading, for this very difficult sport of cheerleading. And I have said to Tanya, the cheerleaders at my college were like, they were like acrobats. I mean, I can see that this is an amazing skill. Do you want to ask that question? Do you have anything you want to ask more about that, Kimberly?
No, because that's pretty much where I was going with that. It was that I really don't have a specific one, because it's like age brackets. You have to separate it, because you can't have a 4-year-old with an 8-year-old doing backflips and stuff. So I definitely.
Your segment is, they're going to be segments by age groups, but they have one combined, the avatar that you're looking for is a person that's interested in this particular sport, right? Like if you're focusing on cheerleading, so it's like you are serving the cheerleading population, and it's going to be various ages or gender and, skill sets, but it's very specific to the cheerleading sport. And that's probably where you want to be able to direct your customer segment. The segments are plural, will be the ages, will just be the age groups, but the interest is in this particular sport. And I would try to, they say with writing, try to write it badly, and then we can tweak it, like I would start putting something down along those lines, but think of it from that perspective.
I think, Kim, I think too, if you think about the people who bring their kids to junior reds or to fly fickle for youth cheer, those are going to be the exact same people. So if you think about those people and you break them down, then I think we can come up with some avatars for that. And I can help you with that too.
It sounds good.
That's perfect. Thank you, Tanya.
I'm that person.
And it's it has to be something that's affordable too, somebody that you want to start thinking about what the prices are.
Yes. Yes, that definitely has crossed my mind, because not just with my local town I'm in, but the surrounding, like they definitely need support to get those kids, off the street into, being active, healthiness and fitness wise, not being on electronics. And the gym is a great place, because it's not just for just girls, it's for boys too. Because even like skaters, they like to learn how to do flips. Well, it'll be a great place for them to learn the correct form so they don't get hurt on the rink. So,
yeah, perfect.
Definitely opening it up to a variety of things, that because my biggest thing is safety and learning proper ways of doing it. So yeah.
And we'll have some more time over the next few weeks to really spend time kind of tweaking all of this information, but this is really just to get you started. So I'd like to just move on before, because I want to save some time for Tanya here. The channels, which also Andrew was talking about. So the channel block, through which channels, basically, how do our customers want to be reached? Not necessarily how we want to reach them, but how do they want to be reached? And how are we going to raise awareness? So we're using the channels to sell to our customers, to communicate with our customers, so there's going to be a way that we create awareness that we're even here. How do we tell people we do residential and commercial cleaning? I have to say, lately, I don't know if any of you are on this, I have some mixed feelings, but is anyone on the Nextdoor app for neighborhoods? NEXTDOOR. Has anyone heard of Nextdoor? So I found Nextdoor about a year ago. It's all over, it's on all different neighborhoods, but yeah, so Jacoby is saying, I tried it and it's the worst. It's the one that I'm on. I didn't like it when I was doing a business. I had a business. I had one for Ibero Business Center when I was trying to share information about business center locally in my zip code where my office is. I didn't like it, but where the one I have at home, I see a lot of small businesses, many like the ones that you people, like that you guys all have. They'll just very casually put in a note that says, hey, I'm doing residential repair. Or more often people are saying, does anyone know someone that can do some electrical work for me? Does anyone know someone that can do, a minor home repair? And then all these people will pop in and go, hey, direct message me or send me something. And Nextdoor doesn't like it if you're advertising, kind of on it's just supposed to be social, I guess. But I think when it's casual like that and you're asking for recommendations, I personally have written probably 10 phone numbers down from people because I have an old house that needs attention, oh, people go, who do you know that could do this? Who does that? Who does this? So I just mentioned that as a possible channel. It's called Nextdoor. I'll put it in the chat, but so those are all the different ways. And I think Andrew was talking about, also how he's communicating, how are people going to find you and how are you going to find people? And I think, and Luis, you had a question about, how am I going to reach the people in the city or the county? And, sometimes it's first understanding what permits do I need? What do I, who's the name of the person that runs, the public works department? Okay, who is that? And then you just ask. I know in the city of Buffalo, they would have a waiting list for some types of contractors, but also, and we'll talk more about this later, but just to you, once your business is up and running, you need to think about a minority business enterprise, because the city wants to do business with people that have this particular certification, which we can talk about later. So anyway, those channels, think about the ways, I think Tanya may have talked about this, or one of us did last week, all the different ways from your website, your social media, to, all the different ways I'm thinking about, whether you have a store, however you're communicating with people. So let's just make sure everybody has at least something written down in the channels. And then we're just going to talk briefly about the customer relationships block, excuse me, with Tanya. And Matt, we'll talk more about the MWBE certification within this program. So we're writing right now in your channels. Just make sure you have something written in the channels block or something that you're writing on a piece of paper that you're going to type into the channels block. How am I reaching people? Is it my website? Is it my social media? Do I have a store? Am I sending out letters? Am I sending postcards to a zip code? If anyone's have any, if you feel stuck with any of this, we're going to have other opportunities to go into some mentoring breakout rooms. Like I think we could block off 15-20 minutes in a future meeting where we can just work with people one-on-one or in a group, like just go around in smaller groups and try to make sure everyone has something typed in here. Some of you are very are really doing well with it because we can already hear what you're working on. And I guess, Tanya, whenever you're ready, what we're going to do, everyone, is just wrap up the evening by trying to get into the fourth block. Keep calling them boxes, but block is good, of the customer relationships. And I just will tell you one thing about a customer relationship. When it comes to customer service, there was a restaurant where I used to, there was a restaurant in a neighborhood where I worked in South Buffalo a long time ago. And there was a woman that owned this particular restaurant. She also owned a dollar store across the street. And when people would come into the dollar store, she would never stop talking on her phone at the register. She never said hello. She never said thank you. And I'm still thinking about her 10 years later. Like, bad customer service it just leaves a lasting taste in your mouth. So think about your customer relationships and just the value of saying hello and thank you. It's amazing. Tanya, I'm going to turn it over to you. And remember, we're going to have some help. We'll have some help conversations, mentoring conversations, moving on in the future.
Yes, we'll talk about that in just a second too. We're looking at block 3, which we have up customer relationships. And the main question is, how will you interact with your customers? And that was a great example of how maybe not to interact with your customers. But what type of relationship does each of our customer segments expect us to establish and maintain with them? So obviously, if you have a coffee shop, you don't want to be on your phone while people are coming up to the counter and ordering coffee. They're not likely to come back. Which ones have you already established? So you want to take some time and write some of this down. And how are they integrated with the rest of your business model? So thinking of your customer segments and your channels, and how costly are they? If it's losing you money, it's perhaps not the best idea. A great thing I learned in the breakout room, and Kelia, if it's okay, I'm going to use you as an example a little bit. She makes cakes. And one of the things that when I'm ordering a cake, pretty is great, but if it doesn't taste good, I don't really want it. So she has these things called cake cups, and it's part of the cake that you cut off, and then she can sell those for, did you say $2? I think that's just a great way to engage your customers, trying different kinds of cake, and then it's always top of mind. So just a thought. And it's not costly because she's using something that she already has. She doesn't have to go and make a cake for people to come in and try 12 different kinds. She probably already has those. So you want to take some time and write down how you're going to interact with your customers. What type of relationship does each of our customer segments expect us to establish and maintain with them? What have you already established? Just some examples too of engagement or interacting live or online, in the community, personal assistance or self-serve. So I'm going to take a few minutes to do that. We just have some final things when we wrap up. Does anybody have any questions about the last few blocks that we talked about?
I don't have any questions, but I will make a comment that this is great because I've been sitting here questioning about mine and Jackie's ideas and how we can make it unique and like our own from other places around.
Yes.
And so this has gotten me to think about what exactly we're looking for and how to make it, what kind of relationship do we want with our customers and how we want it to make it memorable so they do come back. So this is great. I love this.
Thank you, Nellie.
You're welcome.
Si alguien tiene preguntas en el grupo de español que quisieran presentar en voz alta, por favor, déjanos saber.
So if you want to wrap that up, if there's no questions, I want to take a minute and introduce a new Ibero employee. His name is Octavio, and he is our new senior coordinator for the Finger Lakes. And Octavio, if you want to take a minute and just a second and unmute and introduce yourself. Octavio is going to be offering for all of our Spanish-speaking cohort members one-on-one mentoring, and he'll reach out to you within the next week or so and set that up. Anne and I are going to be available for anyone else. So if there's anything that you want to go over with us, I know some of us are already working with some of you and you can continue to do that. You're welcome to work with any one of us at any time, of course, but Octavio, if you want to take a minute and introduce yourself, that'd be great.
Sure. You want to do in English or in Spanish?
English. Danny is interpreting.
Okay. Well, as Tanya said, my name is Octavio Sintra. I just started yesterday, actually. I'm very excited to work with all of you guys. You can reach me anytime. And I speak English and Spanish, so anything that you want me to ask, and I'll be happy to help you.
Great. Thank you, Octavio. So I will now close. Thank you, Danny, for sticking with us to the end. I just want to remind us that, especially for those who are new, like Louise and Jacqueline, to please take advantage of looking into the Google site. If you need to review courses from the past, you can go straight to the same schedule section where we get all the slides from our current speakers. You're going to notice that there is a section for the sections that are already grabadas. How do you say grabadas in English? Recorded. They're recorded. And I'll pull it up. Thank you so much. So right here, I'll show you when you go into the site, you go to schedule and you can see training recording. Every day that we finish a session, I'm including them here. You can easily click on them. It'll ask you for the password that's right there. And you'll be able to see the previous recordings and you can choose the language that you prefer to go over. If you need to see the slides of previous ones, all you do is go to schedule, press schedule, and then we keep all our previous speakers and their slides, either in English or in Spanish, staying here. This is your library to use. And I'm going to take a shameless plug on top of that as well. We haven't shared this in the past, but if you can take the time to rate us on Google, either if you're in the Western New York region or in the Finger Lakes region, which Rochester happens to be in the Finger Lakes region, please take some time to just click here. It'll take you straight to review, and please let us know what you think. This kind of feedback that we get allows us to not just let other customers and future cohort members know about what we do, but it also helps our grantors who are helping keep the price really, really low. Otherwise, we would have to up the price just to maintain all the expenses that come with this. So with that said, thank you so much. Muchísimas gracias a todos and have a good night.
Buenas noches. Muchas gracias.
Thanks, everyone, for your participation today. It was a nice group.
Good night.
Great job. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Daniela.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks, Matt. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, Luis. Welcome.
Bye. Buenas noches.
Bye-bye, Marta.
Bye.
Bye, Marta.
Bye.
Bye, Maria. Thanks, Jaylyn. Good night. And Grace said her computer was
That looks flat.
Going to turn my camera on, you guys, but don't laugh at me because I've been sick.
This background makes my hair look lumpy.
Daniela, thank you for that, and Tanya for jumping in at the, I know we were not fully prepared, but you did perfectly. Thank you.
I was in the other room still when I heard my name, and I came trucking in, and I was like, totally missed it. Totally missed it.
Augustine, thanks for your interpretation again, also going around the room.
Danny, I'm totally missed jumping into the Spanish room today. I felt like I left you.
No, don't worry about it.